All right, so I said this live as the Tennessee Titans, or once I found out who the pick was. It was a selection that definitely made Tajay Spears happy. Titans took his former teammate at Tulane, wide receiver Jha'Quan Jackson. Um, when I saw the pick, I was like, once again, if I was to predict, if I really wanted to, which would have been a phenomenon, not the first time, I would have definitely had Jha'Quan Jackson as the pick for the Titans in this range. Made 100% sense. 100% sense. Because at this range, it's really about, especially at that position, at in this area, you're just looking for, your guy that's gonna fit your offense is gonna fit a need, but more so you're gonna lean towards like, did he go to one of my favorite guys on the roster, college? You know, these guys, Senior Bowl guys. Tajay Spears went to the Senior Bowl, which is rare from what I understand. That players who are already drafted going to the Senior Bowl to support their teammates, which Tajay Spears did for Michael Pratt and Jha'Quan Jackson. So it kind of made sense to some degree. So who is Jha'Quan Jackson, the player? A minute and a half in. So what I saw on tape was I saw a big, bigger receiver for his height, at the 190 range. Meaning, he's not obviously 200. I didn't say that, but definitely a player that can withstand some hits over the middle. Slot guy, predominantly. I think he could play at Z, but predominantly a slot guy. Didn't have high production years at the wide receiver position. Never had, even I think even a 600-yard season as a wide receiver. But when you talk about being a returner, that's where I'm more enticed for Jha'Quan Jackson, possibly making this roster as a returner. You see big game ability in him at that position as a returner. A lot of times, people will, or evaluators, random people will look at, okay, Titans drafted him, he was a receiver. I'm looking at the box score stats. I'm looking at the analytics. Okay, it's not that, it doesn't pop off to me. Then I'm looking at the box score stats pertaining to him being a returner. Still not that much, still not that enticing. But then you actually put on the tape and watch the games live, and you see some big returns, even though they weren't for touchdowns. During certain moments of the game, you see flashes of, hey, he understood the situation. Let's talk situational, right? Not many evaluators talk situational on these podcasts and videos, but situational. In these situations, the guy is rising up to the occasion, rising up to meet the challenge and having big returns and setting his team up, regardless of if they won or lost, but setting his team up with good field position. And that's what it's about. So you project that ability to a team that's going to have, let's hope, have better players, better NFL level blocking schemes, which they're relatively similar, but NFL coaching, to clean up some of the muffed punts and muffed special teams plays that he had. Clean that up, be able to possess the football and make the plays that he made in college. And he runs the open field. He hits the hole, right? He has the ability to make those chunk plays, to get those chunk plays to set up his offense. So if I was to rank him as a slot receiver on this roster, I think he'd be behind Tyler Boyd. I think that he'd be behind Kyle Phillips. I think they say they're not putting Traylon Burks there. So he'd be probably wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4 at specifically the slot position. In total, he'd probably be wide receiver 6 or something like that. But as a returner, I think that next to Keirs Jackson, it's probably him and the Jackson Bros, Keirs and Jha'Quan, as the best pure punt returners on the team. Um, then you have some players that have dual roles who could also be returners. I think Kyle Phillips, the biggest thing blown up about Kyle Phillips' ability as a punt returner, and even I said this during his evaluation process, was the box score, how many yards per return he had, which is totally based off of opponent. It could be based on a lot of things. He can run to open field and run to open space. That has not translated yet, more than likely because of injury to the field. So I would put Kyle Phillips in that, but it hasn't translated yet when given the opportunity. So I think he could be in that position, top three, to be a returner next year. So as we, like I said before in the previous video, as we start to get to the end of the draft, the less and less likely these videos are going to be closer to 10 minutes. But it's pretty simple. Does he make the roster? Maybe, maybe not. He's just right now he's in that fringe competition mode with a lot of the end of the roster, end of the depth chart players at his position. So we'll see. Do I like the pick? Um, Based off of who was available, not the biggest fan. And I'll get into that. Several names come to mind, and I won't say it in this video. You're gonna have to watch my video series on who I would take. But as a returner, solid. So we're just gonna have to see how that pans out.